Please remain seated. The show will begin in 3, 2...
Like a Hellcat.
Hello, ghoul friends. Those who are freaky chic, fans of the supernatural, and all things spooky. I'm your host, FandomTraveller87, and welcome back to my channel. My own dark, creepy paradise within the world of the unknown. And before I continue on with this video, I just want to say thank you again so much for listening. As always, your support is most appreciated. You guys are the main reason why I do this. A lot of love, passion, time, and energy and effort goes into making these projects. And there is so much gratitude that I have for the quality of followers. The people such as you who have been so awesome, and having read some of your comments, they really have motivated me to keep striving towards improvement. And with that being said, let's dive right back into the burial vault for this next tale of mine, and I hope that you enjoy it. Alright, let's do this. Sharing this story after a decade, it's been a rather difficult journey for me. I spent a few years going to therapy to try to put the series of unfortunate events out of my mind. I used to be a skeptic of the paranormal, and my roommates, Louisa and Diane, whom I've known since the 5th grade, we've always been nearly inseparable. I had been plagued with a lot of tragedy at the start of the tender age of 11, when my mother committed suicide by blowing her brains out upstairs in front of the bathroom mirror in our old apartment. And I saw this firsthand. I vividly have nightmares about it still. And ever since then, I kept the mirror, as it was the only remnant I had left of my mother. Some would consider it morbid, but for me, it was the only thing that brought me closer to her again. I would always find myself drawn to stare into it for hours, as though under some strange spell, and sometimes I wouldn't even remember going into the bathroom at all. I suffered from sleepwalking and insomnia. This begun when my mother passed. My other family members, my dad especially, were not emotionally supportive nor compassionate about my struggles, even when it came to my mental and physical health conditions. There are 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. However, revenge is one I'd like to add. This is where a point in my life I had lost my way, and I became resentful of the happiness of others. Throughout high school and going into university, I was jealous of how successful my friends were, how good their relationships were with their boyfriends, how sick and tired I was that their lives mattered more than mine. They always had the better grades. They always were the best at sports. They always were prettier and more popular than me. And I gradually became less of a friend to them and more like a tool who was pressured into doing their assignments for them, giving them rides long distance to house parties. The list goes on and on. I wasn't doing so well academically my freshman year because of the many issues from my so-called friends who hung out with another group of older girls from the fraternity. Darlene was the ringleader of her very own fucked up circus of loyal followers, losers and dimwits who were often a bad influence on Louisa and Diane. Drugs, underage drinking, danger stares. There was one particular incident that sparked the beginning of a butterfly effect. a never-ending cycle of sickness, injury, torment, and death. If you are familiar with the Bloody Mary legend, you'll know there are quite a few variations to the origin of a malevolent spirit of a witch that haunts bathroom mirrors. Well, you haven't heard this one, I bet. So here it goes. I heard this version during a slumber party at Darlene's dorm she shared with her cheerleading posse. It was 10 o'clock at night, and we were all huddled up in a circle on the floor, with our pillows and blankets eating junk food, and Darlene shut off the light, putting a lantern in the center of the circle. She sat crisscross, eerily looking over at all of us, with a glint of mischief in her baby blue eyes. "Have you heard of the sad, terrifying tale of Mary Moore?" Darlene asked. Everyone else exchanged clueless expressions and shook their heads. I rolled my eyes in annoyance and crossed my arms. "Here we go," I muttered under my breath. Most people would laugh at Darlene's stories, and me being the only rational person in the room, I always shot her down whenever I had the chance. "As if anyone is dumb enough to believe this shit," I commented. Darlene glared at me with a serious scowl. "I assure you," she said, "this one is 100% true. Mary Moore was once a student here, and she was a very lonely girl, longing for acceptance and kindness. 35 years ago, on Halloween night of 1982, she attended the Harvest Prom with the hottest quarterback on the football team, Brandon Kent. Mary had fallen for Brandon, and Brandon pretended to love her back because he was secretly plotting a cruel prank on her. Mary was someone that could be scared too easy, and this made her a target of humiliation and harassment from Brandon's buddies and other upperclassmen. She was very well gaslighted, so swoon over Brandon's drop-dead gorgeous looks and irresistible persuasiveness. So much that she always did everything he asked her to do. She would do anything to get him to love her back. She wore the pretty pink dress he bought her, and she was told that she and Brandon were going to be crowned prom king and queen, and he was going to ask her to be his official girlfriend. The announcement came when the votes were counted after an hour, and Mary's eyes beamed with excitement. But when the dean boomed over the speaker the name of the prom queen, Mary's heart sank, and she was devastated when she saw Brandon and her best friend Monique enter the stage, being crowned and giving each other a tender kiss. To add insult to injury, a bucket high above Mary attached to a rope was tugged, and the bucket had fallen, spilling its contents all over Mary's face, beautiful dark hair and dress. A horrid stench filled her nostrils. Pig's blood. She screamed, and laughter from many of the students, including Brandon and Monique, had caused Mary to run from the gymnasium as she sobbed uncontrollably. She had gone to the girls' bathroom and locked the door. Then the dim light above the mirror flickered, and Mary approached it. And then she paused. The dreaded silence was deafening. "What?" I blurted out impatiently. Darlene grinned widely. "A voice from the mirror spoke to her," she said. "It told her she could be set free if she gave up her mortal soul and be granted immortality to exact revenge on those who wronged her." Mary accepted without hesitation, and in front of her was a gun. She picked it up and put it inside her mouth, shutting her eyes before she pulled the trigger. A shot fired, brain matter and blood splattering all over the walls, the mirror itself in the sink, her limp body draped over, her bloody handprints smeared on the glass. She paused once more. Everyone looked petrified. I was speechless. "Can you guess what tonight is?" she asked. No one, not even me, could utter a sound now. "The anniversary of her gruesome death," Darlene said. "Rumor has it, since her suicide, those who are unfaithful and those who bully others, they are mesmerized by a voice calling to them inside the bathroom, and once they are trapped in there, there is no escape. They can see her staring back, Some say she will crawl out of the mirror and devour them, ripping away their skin. Some also say she will cut out your eyes and then your tongue. Some say that the very sight of her decomposing bloody face will drive them to madness. For those who survive an encounter, they will either kill themselves or they will be possessed to do god-awful crimes. Mary Moore will even go as far as to drag her victims into the mirror with her, and they will forever be bound to it. "You're lying!" I shouted furiously. "Am I?" Darling snapped. "If you have not gotten the memo already, your dorm room, your bathroom, is a crime scene. That is the place where Mary Moore took her own life." I couldn't believe this. What the hell was this? I packed my things and I left the party. I wasn't going to buy into any of that BS. If only I hadn't messed with something, because I fucked up bad, and because of this mistake, I'm haunted now, and I can't sleep knowing I opened a door that I cannot close.